Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am here setting up my February Frankenplanner. I've got in front of me my January Frankenplanner. It is getting very chunky. Let me move this out of the way. So super chunky now, and I decided that instead of trying to move everything out of this planner and convert it for February, what I'm going to do instead is have a second setup, and what I will do is alternate between these two. Now for my Frankenplanner, both of these, this one is my January, this one will be February, but for both of these I keep only 1 month at a time. I do have dividers, tabs, and a couple of pages that are for the entire year, and so I will pull those out of my January Frankenplanner and move it into February once January is over. But I will use this as a reference point to show you where everything is and where things belong in terms of being moved to February. So I'll basically show you the things that will be moved over in February, but they'll stay in here for the time being just because it's still January when I'm setting this up. So hopefully that makes sense. I do like to keep several different sections or several different planners in one. And again, I'll walk you through the entire process of like what gets Frankenplanned in here, but I keep only 1 month at a time for each planner. So since it's still January, I leave all of those planners in here. I'll set up just for February in here. So it will, I think, make more sense as we get into it. But let's just start off with just showing you a quick flip through of this. Now I will leave everything in here for my January Frankenplanner setup until I do the flip through of January, and then those pages will be moved into February. So I do have covers and discs, as you can see here. There are also some top tab dividers and some side tab dividers. Now these dividers I will move over once January is over, but I'm going to go ahead and show you my February setup. Right now, I've just decided to go into my stash and find something that, could serve as February. And so I thought this one would be really nice. It is a Work Plus Life cover that I did put a sticker down and just covered it with a floral, so that way it got rid of the date. It was already set up from a previous Frankenplanning system that I had. It had the discs and actually the tabs, and I gotta be honest, I was looking for these tabs for forever, so they were here. I found them. And it also has like 4 top tabs and these 6 side tabs, and so that's very similar to the setup in here, where I do have 6 side tabs in there, and then there are 4 top tabs plus a 5th one. That's my budget planner. You'll see that in just a second. And again, I won't do a full flip through of this one. There will be a separate video where I do the full flip through, but I wanted to show you section by section what gets moved over here, and it will be actually just the first section, I think. So going in here, this first section is my annual, all the yearly pages that I have. I'm not going to move anything in here yet. Again, after the flip through, once we're solidly into February, I will move those pages. So we'll go in here and I'll show you the pages that get moved. Again, it says annual. I do think that when February starts, I'm going to go ahead and switch the side tabs over to my planner as well. But it has in here just my hello page, then my pages with my word of the year. All right, I'm like, I need more room. All right, so my word of the year. Then I've got a packet here, an envelope here with like washi dots, my stencil, all sorts of things. Then I have a sticky note dashboard. And then I do have 2025 pages that I'm just using just to track things. Obviously it's empty. I haven't used this in 2025 because I have my little micro book. But I also have the pages for 2026, and again, I haven't written anything in here. I basically ignored the days of the week because it is outdated. It doesn't actually match up days of the week to the date. And then I decided in January that I would add a couple of extra pages in here, including like coloring pages just to take to church, and then a couple of DIY pages that I did in terms of cruise vacation planning, since I did that in January. I'm going to show you all that in my flip through. Those pages came from my home binder and from my faith planner, and again, full flip through in January, but none of that, well, the faith stuff goes back into my faith planner. The cruise planning stuff goes into my my vacation, my travel home binder. So only the pages that are through essentially this year at a glance will get moved to February. Everything else here, the faith stuff, will go into my faith planner, and then these cruise planning pages will go into my travel home binder. All right, so then I will just go ahead and tell you what else is in here, because this will be pretty straightforward in terms of like my actual setup. So the next 5 sections, the remaining 5 dividers, it starts off with catch-all, and I'll set that up with you in a minute. This is just January pages, all right? And then the next section is health, right? And again, it's just my January pages right now. And in fact, this is the last week, so I'm going to pull these pages out for health, because I had some extra pages in here, but this is like definitely the last week, right? So I had some extra pages. This third section is growth, and again, it should be just my January pages in here. Again, full flip through separately in a separate video. Then family, which again should be just my January pages, and then the last section is budget. Now for budget, I do have it for just January, but one thing that I do need to take is this divider, because I have a 5th divider. This one I pulled from my budget planner because it has like a pocket and I can store some budget stickers in here. So this one will definitely need to be moved over. And again, I'll probably move my side tabs, top tabs, all the tabs and annual pages in February to my February Frankenplanner, and I'll just kind of flop them, right? Flip-flop them, switch the dividers and things like that around, right? And then I also have in the back, and I will pull these, I don't need them at this point, but I do have 2 envelopes, one of which has my pin holder, right? And I'll need that in my February setup. And then I just have a random like sheet of like just scratch paper. Essentially, I should put some more scratch paper in my February Frankenplanner. All right, so that's what it looks like in January. I'm doing the same thing in February, and so we're gonna just move the stack over. I have a stack of my 5 planners. These are all the 5 planners that were the 5 sections. And again, all the annual pages are in the front here. I won't move those in, but I'm going to keep the same order. So the order that I had them in was catch-all, health, growth, family, and budget. So I'm going to do those 5 planners. They're right here. I'm moving only February in, and then I did pull, a couple of items from the January planner, Frankenplanner already, and I'll go ahead and get those in. So this is in no particular order really. So first things first was the last thing I pulled out of my January Frankenplanner, the 2 envelopes with my pin loop, and then that one random scratch sheet of paper. I will at some point I'm gonna have to remember to add some more pages in there, because I need a few more pages. All right, and so then catch-all health is the 3rd tab, right? So it's kind of hard to see it, but this is the 3rd tab. I'm gonna go ahead and take these pages and move them in here for February. For my health planner, I basically just track my food and any physical health symptoms. It is an outdated horizontal, and I just white out the month and just redate the numbers here. And I'll probably need 4 or 5 weeks worth. So let's see, this is 1, 2, 3. All right, I can't use that page, so that's still just 3. Actually, I'm gonna do that like this. Okay, let's count again. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and you'll notice that like the pattern here is different, but I'm just gonna not be too sussed about that. Like, I'm totally fine with that. All right, so let me find my health planner then, just to get an extra week in here, just in case I need it. I think I've been trying to get into the habit of like, or not the habit, but like I just want to be able to get like all of February in the same in the same set, or in the same Frankenplanner. So for example, February 1st and 2nd is Saturday and Sunday. I will make a spread just for February 1st and 2nd, even though it's literally only 2 days, right? So I'm gonna move this in here to make that 5th week, and I may need a 6th week. I don't think so for February, but I might need a 6th week, and if so, I'll pull it from my health planner, and it does have all of my horizontal pages. Okay, so that one is done. The next one is growth, and I'm just pulling randomly from the pile here. This one goes right after health, right? So it's this 4th divider, right? And I use here a dashboard. Let me get into it. All right, so I use a dashboard. It's actually an old an old, oh, actually no, it's not a dashboard, it's the Simply layout. I forgot. So this is a Simply layout, so it looks like this. I need more space. So it looks like this. Again, it is like kind of it's outdated, so I do need to redate it, and I use Sweet Kawaii Design stickers to do that. And again, just to be able to keep the entire month of February together, so Saturday and Sunday for February together, I added in a page here just to, you know, have the first and the second, and I can just glue these pages together. So it kind of just mimics the Simply layout, because the back of it is the grocery list from, I think, the Caregiver pack. So anyway, I'm going to pull this out and stick this in here, right, for my growth. Oh, I should go back to personal growth. Personal growth, I keep track of like my leadership events, my volunteer activities, any books that I'm reading, especially for personal development type stuff. And then right here, I've decided in January to convert this to chores. And so here I'm doing kind of like tracking of events or things I'm doing, projects I'm doing. I also use it for goals tracking or journaling. So all of that happens in these 7 boxes. And then here is chores, right? So I forgot to mention that. Right. Then for family. Okay, so family is an outdated, or actually, I don't remember exactly where I started here. Right. So it is an outdated planner. And what I've been doing is I actually tried to use it last year, 2024, but I didn't do it, so now I have the pages once again, but it's a classic vertical. And what I do for my family planner is I basically just track, you know, text messages, any conversations that I have with my family, any visits that I have with my family. I decorate it. It's kind of like a journal / memory keeper for my family, extended family. So when we visit our in-laws, when I visit my extended family, like my sisters, my nieces, nephews, that all kind of goes here. I also, you know, of course, communicate with them regularly, so I track those things here. I also put in here my friends, so like my big friend groups, any group chats that we have going on, any plans that we make, all those go on these pages. And again, it's mostly just for me to have like a creative journal space for family and friends. So that is what goes here. I do have to redate and do all of that, but that is not this video, because this video will otherwise be extremely long. All right, the 6th section here is budget, right? And so budget, for my classic at least, is a lined vertical. So this is what it looks like. I decided, I think I said this in my micro plan with me, I decided for the 1st and the 2nd of February, I'm just going to not try to spend any money and start with the 3rd of February. It is outdated pages, but I actually use the classic pages to categorize. So like each of these columns ends up being a category of my cashless envelope system. I basically put everything on credit card and pay off my credit card every month. But I have my expense tracker, which is my little micro that I use, and I decorate that every week as a video for YouTube. But I just love that micro. But the expenses, just logging it daily, it doesn't really tell me which category it comes out of. And so this is my way of going back in here and just rewriting the expenses, but by category. So that is what I do for that. And again, it's outdated, but I actually, for this planner, I don't use the numbers at all. I just kind of like wipe those out, put washi, just decorate it, and then put by expenses. Okay. And so I've got budget already in here. I've got my family planner already in here. I've got my personal growth planner, and I've got my health, right? And again, the first tab is for the annual pages from my January Frankenplanner that I will move over later. And so the only other section that's missing is my catch-all. And so for my catch-all, I am using a combination. So there are 2 planners that I'm using here. The first one is a monthly layout. So it is, this is the only one where I'm using an actual monthly spread. So this is for February. And it is this is actually a current planner. It has this dashboard page. And then I talked about in one of my previous videos how I'm basically using the monthly to track events, but then I'm not using this page for any reason. And then this page, I want to be kind of like the start of a running to-do list. And so I'm putting all of my pending tasks that I pull from my daily pages, and I just kind of, if I don't complete it that day, I move it over here, so that way there's a place that I can track all of my pending tasks. without writing it over and over and over again every single day until I complete it. You know, sometimes you have a task that just stays there for like weeks and weeks, right? So instead of writing it over for weeks at a time, I just write it once on the day that it is that I thought of it, and then I will write it here if it doesn't get done that day. Like today, if I come up with something but I don't complete it that day, it would go in here, and then once I complete it, I will cross it off here and I'll cross it off on my daily page. All right, so that's the monthly layout. I totally forgot the beginning pages, so I need my monthly spread as well, so I'll stick that in there. Okay, and then in addition to this monthly layout that I use basically for my monthly events and for my tasks, my running pending task list, I also have my daily. Now these dailies are a letter size tool, TUL, daily page. It's a daily on 2 pages that was initially letter size, and I trimmed off the top of it that had like the dates. This is like from 2020, so I trimmed off that part of it, and then I trimmed down the margin to basically make it classic size, the 7 by 9 1/4. I already went through and not redated, but like added dates for the entire month, and so I've got it all the way through the 28th, right? And this is the last page just to get the 2-day spread here, and so I just basically use the daily page in addition to my my monthly spread. Now what I end up doing is on a daily basis, I go in, I look at my monthly spread, I see what events I have, I make note of that on my daily page, and then I will just for the day just log all the different things that I do that day. So when I'm eating, when I'm, you know, reading the Bible, like all the different things, I do treat it like a catch-all where all the things end up landing on this page somewhere. I put in here like, you know, not my work hours per se, but when I'm working, so all of that gets on here, and then they will get moved into my specialty areas. So like dinner, I'll write dinner here, but it gets moved somewhere else, right? I think I'm going to record a separate video talking about like how I use a catch-all in addition to all of the specialty planners. If you're interested in that, just let me know, because, you know, explaining it makes sense to me, but maybe it would help to have like a visual and just like an explanation to go with like how I actually do it. So anyway, I do track all of my events, all of my tasks on here. And again, just like I said, if the task doesn't get done, then it gets moved to my task pages at the beginning, right here, right? And then once I continue the month, as I complete a task, I'll go in here, I'll mark it off as complete, and I'll also write it on the day I completed it. So that way it is completed and it's tracked on the day as well as on this pending task list. And I'm hoping that that really works for me, right? And the only thing that's missing at this point is a pen, and my annual pages in here. I will switch out these dividers because the ones in January are labeled, so I'll switch out the side tabs. I need my budget tab for my 5th tab, top tab, and then I have just a note to myself to add more scratch paper, but that's pretty much it. And let me show you what it looks like right now without the annual pages, right? It's getting kind of full, but it's still doable as a, you know, classic size disc. It's looking pretty good. So that is my setup for February. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Hopefully I explained everything well and didn't go too quickly through anything. But if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to leave them. I've been Frankenplanning for a very long time, so it makes sense to me, but sometimes it can be confusing, especially if this is like the first Frankenplanning video that you've watched. So please do leave a comment or a question if you have them. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.